We've just had one of the craziest days in recent Fortnite history. Day one of the Summit LAN is officially over. I'll discuss all the duos that made it through to finals, as well as the teams that have had to drop to the lower bracket. We also had a ton of announcements for competitive that I'm going to break down for you. Let's just get straight into it. So out of the 20 European duos from day one, 13 of them have qualified all the way through to grand finals, whilst 7 of the duos will have to go through the lower bracket, one of those being iDrop and Marius. Now, they were agonizingly close to qualifying, finishing in 26th place, 1 place off the top 25 needed to make it through, and it does feel like a bit of a missed opportunity for them. They were actually uncontested, which they weren't fully expecting, and they weren't quite able to make the most of it. And the reason why I'm a bit concerned for this duo is because they will now be contested in the lower bracket by Podesai and Sato. And if you've been watching the off spawns between these two duos, you'll know that it's been fairly one-sided. We had one tournament where iDrop and Marius literally came 50th with 0 kills, not beating Podesai and Sato once off spawn, and if that's anything to go by, then this lower bracket could get a little bit messy. It's difficult because for most of these big duos that have dropped to the lower bracket, they should be able to make the top 25 needed to qualify for finals, whereas with these guys it's a little bit more complicated. They did not take advantage of their situation on day one, and it looks like they are going to pay the penalty. Chap and Flixie also missed out, coming in 29th place. It was looking like qualification was going to be relatively simple. They were contested over at New Sanctuary by the Brazilian duo of Lua and Romero. Unfortunately, Chap and Flixie were taken out in both of the last 2 games, and that did end their chances of qualification, although I do think they should pretty easily make it out of lowers. It wasn't a convincing performance from them. We had Nebs and Nathan finishing in 30th place. This was honestly expected because they were contested by Muzz and Sphinx. We had Pixie and Swizzy finishing in 31st place, and it's been a very difficult week for them. Swizzy only getting approved for his visa just the day before the tournament. It's been a very stressful one, and they just couldn't get up to speed in this cup. It's fair to say that they haven't exactly put on crazy performances since forming as a duo, and I don't think many people will be overly shocked that they didn't qualify, but for the quality they do have on paper, I would have liked to have seen them making it into at least the top 25, especially with uncontested Dark Dominion. Pixie looks pretty emotional after dying in that final game. It just did not go to plan for them. Yes, they should pretty easily make it through the lower bracket. Top 25 shouldn't be too much of a challenge, but this performance isn't a great sign for them. Now, for some of the teams I've just mentioned, they may be big names, but it's not necessarily a big shock that they haven't made it through. However, for this duo, it's very uncharacteristic. We had Chino and Pablo Wingu finishing 34th place, and honestly, I'm very surprised by this. They split Sandy Strip, they had the recipe to do well, and they just could not make it work. There was a moment in Game 5 where they were in a storm battle against Cold and Rapid. It was a very tightly contested affair, and they did narrowly lose out there. Had they been able to win that, then that could have been the momentum they needed to make the top 25. Listen, I've got no doubts they're going to qualify through lower brackets. They're way too good to miss out, but this was a real surprise. We also had Yanis and Cheaton not make it, finishing in 40th place. They were contested, so this was not a surprise. And Repairs and Frostroki finished in 42nd place. They were just unable to make the end game consistently, not managing a game inside the top 20. Now, later on, I'll take a look at the map for the lower bracket and I'll discuss the Fortnite competitive announcements. But before then, let's break down the 13 duos that did qualify for finals. We had Dom and Demush finish in 1st place, and it was a very consistent performance from these guys. Really impressive stuff. I will say I do think the value of getting first on day one is slightly reduced because the best teams will be looking to qualify in their first few games and then condition all the duos around them, removing potential threats for finals. However, big credit to Dom and Demush nonetheless. In this Nothing But Fortnite video, I spoke about how they were genuine dark horses and they had a real route to victory, and I maintain that there is a legitimate chance that they could win the whole tournament. They are that good. Provided they can keep their drop spot, they should have a very high finish. We had Cami and Hari come in 2nd place. There were only 2 full Polish duos at this LAN, and they managed a 1st and a 2nd, so fair play to them. Listen, Hari in particular was great during this tournament. He had the 3rd most damage, and he hit a lovely solo clutch in Game 6 to secure that victory royale. A strong performance from them. This is a duo that haven't been bad by any means lately, but they also haven't been getting those really high placements, so nice to see them back where they belong, near the top of the leaderboard. Of course, Cami on LAN, no surprises there. We had Vico and Malabuka in 3rd place. Vico had the most elims out of any player. No shocks there again, he is such an explosive player, and these guys will be a favourite going into day 3. Sky and Scroll, of course, made it, coming in 5th place. We had King, Cringe and Twy finish in 7th. They were actually able to win a match. King Cringe hit a lovely solo clutch in game 3. Definitely a very underrated UK team, and I'm glad they're going to be getting a lot more credit, as they do deserve it. King Cringe is someone who had an excellent off-season, earning in all the victory cups, and it's nice to see that he's translated those performances to LAN. We had Yapko and Panzer in 11th place. They started the cup in style, managing a 2nd and a 4th to be first after 2 games. They actually did lose 2 full matches because they were contested, so pretty impressive from them overall. We had Shark and Teeny finish in 13th place, and this was a dominant performance. They did lose the first game off spawn to Clicks and Higgs in a drawn out fight, but after then they completely turned it around and they beat them in every single game. There were obviously matches where Clicks and Higgs chose not to land there, but you can count those as Shark and Teeny wins if you want. It was absolutely dominant. We had this clip where Shark pickaxed Higgs, which was just crazy. So they have now made it into finals. Clicks and Higgs will have to drop to the lower bracket, where they will be contested by King and Phaser, and I'll play this clip for you now.
No, he's going to split with King 100%. There's no way he does
King
it.
is in lower bracket?
Yeah, Brazil King, yeah.
You were telling me the whole time that I should get clicked to lower bracket because that's his job.
Wait, King told you that?
Yeah.
Get clicked to lower bracket and then he's going to do his job.
It remains to be seen as to whether Clicks and Higgs can make it out of lower bracket. We had Focus and Thomas HD finish in 14th place from Ripped Tides, no surprises there. Reason and Noah also made it, playing on home soil. Sires and Scary Sean qualified, the double controller Spanish duo who were actually able to win a game, so big credit to them. We had Cringe and Volko make it through, managing to qualify despite the fact that they had Visuals and Braids and Harvey and Diminish landing right next to them. Definitely not something I expected. I did think they'd have to go through lower bracket, so fair play to them. Werex and Kai Duo made it through, the Phil duo. Werex proving that he does have a lot of quality. If you don't know, I really rated him and Dan Depuzo. I felt like they were a duo with huge potential, and it was very unfortunate when Dan Depuzo did get denied his visa, but it does look like these guys are going to kick on. And finally, in 25th place, narrowly securing their qualification, we had Darkos and Minori landing right over on the east of the map. Fair play to them, a very underrated duo, not one that many people were talking about, but I'm happy to see they'll get a chance in the finals. Also, I know they're not technically an EU duo, but big credit to Veno and Curve. They were great during this tournament. They were doing a lot of lobby conditioning. They fought Focus and Thomas HD over at Riptides in game 4. In game 5, they then keyed Werex and Kai Duo, so they were really trying to scare the teams around them, which is exactly what you want to be doing at this stage, and they have also made the finals. One thing that was really nice about how the tournament played out is that every region will have at least one duo in finals, so everyone's going to have someone to cheer on. Should be pretty exciting. Okay, so here's the map for the lower bracket. Now, I'm not going to do any predictions or anything like that because, as I've mentioned already in the video, playing for first isn't the way forward in this lobby. Teams will play to qualify, they'll play to condition, so you can't really do rankings based on merit. Now, we've got some interesting spawn fights here. Of course, the aforementioned battle over at Wonky Land between Clicks and Higgs and King and Phaser. Of course, we've also got the battle to the east of that between Potasai and Sato and iDrop and Marius. Pixie and Squizzy look like they're contested by Aviv and Cam. Whether they split, I don't quite know. We've got Nathan and Nebs, who are now seemingly uncontested over at Humble Hills. It looks like Muzz and Sphinx have left, so we'll have to see how that plays out. We of course have Akira and Karama over at North Battlewood, one of the favourites to qualify through this lobby. Pix and Ghost up at the north of the map. We've got Skyjump and Mumsy as well, so some big European duos here, and I'm expecting a lot of them to qualify through. And don't worry, I wasn't going to get through the video without mentioning Mr. Savage and Velo. It does look like they are uncontested for Squibbly Shores in these finals. Whether that's going to change, I don't know, because I could see a team surprise contesting them, but if they are uncon, then they should routinely make it through to day 3. Now let's get into the announcements made by Epic during this tournament. We do have some changes to the competitive roadmap. Globals will now be happening in September instead of November. This is because we have a brand new tournament happening in October. That is a solo online FNCS, which I'm so excited about. If you're someone that's watched me for a while, you'll know that I am a huge fan of solos as a game mode, and I've been really hoping for high stakes solo tournaments to return, and well, it has actually happened. I replied to this tweet on Thursday talking about solo tournaments, and within 24 hours they were brought back, so some great manifestation from me. I low-key made the boss call. Some of my best ever Fortnite memories are from watching solos. I'm talking about the Invitational, Water Season, Dream Hacks, even World Cup, and I'm so happy we're going to be having tournaments like that back again. It's going to be so good. Listen, this is going to be great for players players like Karama, Hari, Scroll, all those players that are really good at solos, to finally get a chance to show their ability on the biggest stage. I'm really, really excited for this. Now, there are some other changes as well. Major 3 is no longer happening. We instead have the last chance qualifier, but honestly, I think having solo FNCS, having the last chance in exchange for Major 3 is a really positive trade. I will say I am a little bit concerned about the fact that Globals is now in September, purely because it does mean we may have a long off season, but in all honesty, that could be fun. I quite enjoyed the off season that we had this year because it was a nice chance to reset, a nice chance for up and coming players to develop, so it wouldn't be the end of the world if it did happen again. A lot of people have been worried that because we don't have Major 3, because it's just the last chance major, that potentially the best pros won't have much of a chance to play. My answer to that is that the Esports World Cup LAN will be happening right around that time, so there are still opportunities for the best pros to play at the top level. Honestly, this is looking like it's going to be a really exciting few months, and I'm very excited. I'll be back tomorrow with my video for day 2, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with European Fortnite news. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.